Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is episode 388 of the world famous The University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call the show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today, we have a short but interesting subject, and it's simple, but it's hard sometimes, and I know this firsthand. So we're gonna just lay it out right now, and that is, if you want to write, if you want to be, let's say, if you want to get into copywriting, if you want to write for your, let's say you make a course, let's say you make a class, if you want to write the ad for that, one thing you want to do is you want to practice writing. And the more you write, the more you write emails, the more you write copy, the more you write just in general, the more you write, you will get better at it. Now, that is a simple saying, but the hardest thing for people to do is to keep writing on a daily basis. I don't care if it's an email, I don't care if you're writing a significant other, just get into the habit of writing daily. Okay? Get into the habit, and the more you write, the easier it will be, and you will see after a while, it will start flowing. You will sit down. It's not about how you feel. It's not about, I don't feel well today, I don't feel good today. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's not any kind of, you have to be in a good mood, or if the light's hitting right here, right there, it doesn't matter if you're tired, doesn't matter if you're wide awake, you have a lot of energy. You want to write on a daily basis, and the reason why you want to write on a daily basis is practice makes perfect. And it doesn't matter how many books you read, does not matter how many courses you take about writing, copywriting. That does not matter if you're not going to take action and do the thing that you need to do to get better at it, which is the actual writing. Then it's all for nothing. Okay? And trust me, I started off a couple years ago. I started writing on Medium, and I wrote in a matter of months. I'll say, in the 4 month span, I wrote probably like 40 pieces on Medium. Of course, some were better than others, but that's to be expected. It's not like I've been writing for the last 30 something years. I remember I went to college for a semester. I wrote in college. This lady thought that my writing was good. She said, "You should be a writer." Blah 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 blah. But I was like, "Hey, listen, I can't afford this stuff. I got to go. I got to go off to the military." So away I went to the military. You know what I mean? And so I haven't thought about the writing. I thought about it, but I'm like, life. For you young people, sometimes life takes you on an interesting journey and an interesting twist, and so things happen, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back to the writing eventually. Then one day, in the advanced age of 38, I decided I'm gonna get back to it, and so here we are, writing, doing all this kind of stuff. But the most important thing is, for me, is the more I wrote, the better I got, the better it's a long way to go. It's still improvement. Got to do more writing, but there's most important thing you can do is practice. Without the practice, it ain't going to happen. What's wrong with my baby? Everybody, the baby's on the podcast today. Hello. Say hi. There you go. She had to burp. But yeah, the most important thing that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, is write. I don't care if it's poetry. I don't care if it's long letters, short letters. What you want to do is write. And write. And the most important thing about, like, if you let's say you come up with a course, or you come up with a book, and you want to write an ad for the book. You want people to buy the book. Write like you're talking to somebody. Just think of a friend. Think of whenever I write emails, I always think about my buddy from high school, because I don't know why, but I just think about him, and so I write like I'm talking to him. And it's not. I'm not writing to a group. I'm not writing to 500 people, 600 people, like an email list. I'm writing to one person, and I'm talking to them. It's conversational. And it's not. I'm not here to berate anybody. I'm not here to preach to anybody. I'm just here to make conversation. Like today, I wrote an email about the podcast from yesterday. I wrote about how the phone call and stuff, and then I just talked about how my cousin sucked me dry. He sucked the time out of me dry. And things of that nature. So it's just very conversational. It wasn't nothing like and you got to do this and you got to do that. No, I mean, people know what they need to do. You don't have to preach to them, and that's one thing about writing. You don't have to preach to anybody. This is not a lecture. This is not a sermon. You're just making conversation. And the more you think about that, the more you write it like that, the better off you will be when it comes to your copywriting. The better off you will be when it comes to writing, the articles. When it comes to just any kind of, let's say if you want to write some fiction, or something like that, that might be a little different, but sort of in the same vein, And listen, you don't have to talk like the people in the third grade. You know what I mean? But you don't want to use PhD words, but at the same time, you don't have to use first grade words like see, spot, run. There's a balance, and you'll figure that out. But the most important thing, and we'll emphasize this one more time before we get off this podcast, is you must practice. The more you do, the better you will get. It's not about courses, not about books. You can read books. Yes, books help you. Listen, I read the Stephen King book. I highly recommend it, On Writing, and basically he said the same thing. It was interesting to hear. It was interesting to hear how Stephen King got started, how he was a teacher and he was writing, and how he sold his first story, or the first real success he had, and he stopped teaching after that. So it's very interesting to hear to see his life, his perspective. You know what I mean? But at the same time, reading Stephen King books and reading, this person's book and that person's book about writing, it's good. It's a helpful tool, but it's not the end all be all. You have to, if you want to eat the meat, you have to cook your own steak. Okay, so you have to do your own writing. Okay, you have to write as much as you can. Write every day. And when I first started writing emails, they were short. They were like 3 sentences, 4 sentences, and that's okay. It's people. When the first people on your list are probably not going to be your best customers anyway. Over time, as you build your email list, you will get better at the writing the emails and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the main point of this podcast is just to say, hey, write, and write some more. When you think you're done writing, write some more. I started writing, and then I started doing more poetry, and I started writing more poetry. And writing poetry helped me with the email writing. It helped me with the article writing. It just helped me out in general. Okay, so have some ideas, and if you have an idea for an article, write it down. And just write different ideas down you have for articles. And if you want to start producing them, and take it from there. All right, but make sure you're writing. Okay. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the podcast today. We'll be back tomorrow with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, for me and the baby, we will talk to you tomorrow, all right? And as always, everybody, peace.